What is going on, guys? Dealer here, back again with yet another RDX podcast with a phenomenal panel, phenomenal topics, and a lot of stuff going on in regards to guys, Xbox games, and all this stuff going around. So we got to get into some intros, then we'll get into some topics, some sponsors, and so on and so forth. Colt Eastwood, thanks for joining us, bud. Despite the weird DMs you just got, how you been, huh?
Yeah, really good. I'm playing Far Cry New Dawn right now. No, I'm not playing. I was playing it for the show. I'm excited to be here.
That's good. Hey, D Batch, what's going on, brother?
Oh, chilling, man. I think February is the new October. All the new games that we got this month, incredible.
Yeah, you playing any of them?
Yeah, man. I've been playing them all weekend, man. I gotta say, so far though, I've been playing a lot of Anthem and Metro. Unfortunately, I didn't get into Crackdown yet because there's just so many games that came out, man.
Get into Crack Rock in the meantime. Hey, Fonzarelli, man, what's going on, man? How you been?
I've been great. I've actually just been working on another video for the week. I'm going to put another one out this week concerning Metro, so look out for that.
Concerning, meaning praising Metro.
Praising Metro.
Praising right. Metro. Hey, and we've also got Crispy Smooth. How you been, bud?
I've been nothing but smooth, bro. Just playing Crackdown. You know, about to jump into Metro. Been playing Anthem. I played a crap ton of Anthem over the weekend. Just all these games, like D was saying, I'm just excited about them, especially Metro. I've been hearing really good things, and I took the dive and bought it. So we're going to see how it looks on that beautiful X.
Yeah, it looks insane. But yeah, for those joining us, thank you so much for doing what you do. Almost 200 already hitting us up. Hit that like button if you're early. It really does help. Just try to get the 300 for the end of the show, and 1,000 if you're watching after the fact. How about that? So, hey, we got to get into some sponsorship shout outs here. Start with Captain Redbeard, Lethal Papa, Darius Knight, Prime Suspect, Matthew Bowen, Matthew Bowen, Channing Pennington, Guillermo Cavillo, and Robert Prather. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Be sure and go to the site this week, and I'll have a post about, hey, what new game should I add to the lot to give away? So if you're wanting Metro, you're wanting Far Cry, you're wanting Anthem, there's tons to choose from. Game Pass even. Be sure to leave that comment, and I'll be sure to add some of that accordingly. Speaking of, hey, let's just get into the Crackdown stuff, because the Crackdown's been through hell. It's been getting hammered. It is at a 59 on Metacritic right now. I honestly, like I said in my review, hey, if you're just here to hate on the game, go ahead and fuck off now, because we're going to give honest opinions, right? I don't see how it's at a 59. The game's not broken. I just don't understand it. So really, it is at a 59 Metacritic right now. It was the most played paid title on Xbox Live over the past several days. And these numbers are, of course, driven by the campaign primarily, is what's being reported. So not the multiplayer. Most people are playing the campaign. Single player doesn't matter, though. And, of course, thoughts on the game, man. I just did a review yesterday. I'll kind of let you guys get into it. But, Colt, I know you did a review a while back, but 59, did you think it would settle on a 59?
No, it's actually a 60 right now. I'm looking at it. So best game ever. It's back up, yeah. These numbers usually don't move after a few days, right?
I you know what I heard? I heard Aaron pulled a couple of strings and put Colt's review there, so he's counted.
Yeah, right, right, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This game is super fun, and what I'm hearing from the community, everyone who's playing it, is they are really liking it. They think it's a 7 or 8.
Well, I'd like to know what the chat thinks. Have you played Crackdown 3? And if so, I mean, a try-hard fan, let us know what you think. Luca, you're a fraud. Everyone else in the chat, let us know what you think about Crackdown 3. Like I said, I was surprised by it. I went in with no expectations, expected it to be in the 60 Metacritic range. And for some reason, I'm like, wow, I actually think it's better than the Metacritic, which is kind of rare for me. So, Fonz, give us real quick what your take was on it.
Yeah, so I went into this game thinking that we were going to get another Crackdown game, which I'm not a big fan of. And as people have heard me on podcasts for the last year and a half, here on this podcast, even saying that I was looking forward to, the multiplayer, that was what I was looking forward to with this game, if it did have that destruction and stuff. Because to me, Crackdown, the campaign is just not for me. And when I went into it, two things. I don't personally like it. because it's just like the other Crackdowns. But then I don't get why it's such a low score. I mean, honestly, even for somebody like me who doesn't like the game, it's not a 59. 59 to me tells me something's broken, something's really messed up within the game, and it's not. It's all there. It's working. It's just that, you know, it's not for some people. But even if it isn't, you got games out there like Agents of Mayhem. You got games like Sea of Thieves. When that dropped, it had like 0 content in it. And these games had better scores. I don't understand why it's at a 59. For me, it should at least be like 69, 70. I mean, I don't get it. I really don't.
And that's for you, somebody who's not a Crackdown fan. Agents of Mayhem, by the way, is at a 71 on Metacritic. And if you played that game, you're like, okay, this is definitely not better than Crackdown. Lucas says it took years of these dudes hating on the game only for them to find out that they enjoyed it, play the game. Yeah, because that's something that's going on Twitter, right, Colt? Is a lot of people that were hating on the game are actually like, hey, I actually kind of like the game on Twitter. A lot of Sony guys are even giving the game a little bit of props.
Yeah, they really like it. I think the problem is that fun isn't being factored into this score. I gave the game a 78 out of 100, and but you know, 5 or 10 points out of 100 went up for me because of how much fun I had with the game. And there's a lot of things they could have done with it. And we think back after playing it, like, wow, it'd be so great if they did this, they did that, and they did this. But overall, I had so much fun playing the game. I had a couple of good friends, Dealer's one of them, who had no interest in playing it. I basically only played it because I kept talking about it, and people are really enjoying it. So I think this is one. This doesn't happen very often. I'm in the kind of the camp where I think Metacritic is pretty close to objective because you get all these subjective reviews together and you come up with like a majority vote. So it's kind of hard to argue, but I think this is the one instance where it just didn't come out right. It's really weird. I'm not saying the game shouldn't be. They should be like at a high 70 or something. I understand why it gets lower scores, but a 60. That makes absolutely no sense. Something is off.
Well, yeah, it is a little off. It is a little off when you look at what the reviewers are saying. I mean, a lot of people are saying, well, you got to factor in the multiplayer, and they're not really reviewing the multiplayer. A lot of the reviews didn't even talk about the like partying up with your teammates because they couldn't review it. So all they're doing all you're doing it is reviewing it on the campaign. And to me, I get the feeling that, this kind of felt a little like tacked on for the last 2.5 years. They made this campaign, but man, they did a pretty damn good job with it. And I told people this isn't a game of detail. It's not a game where you stop and look at everything. I say that in my review, where you don't stop and smell the pavement that you're running on, right? The cement. You don't look at it. You just move around because this game just floods you with enemies and it makes you feel like a freaking overpowered god with awesome guns. And you're just running around, destroying stuff, being really fast. And that's what it is. It's a fast-paced game. And it's just fun. You just have fun with it.
You know, to be honest, Zocker, I think that's what pulls me out of the whole immersive feeling in this game, is that I don't ever get that because it's sparse. There's not a lot of stuff going on besides whatever you're shooting at you. You know what I'm saying? Like, but everything.
Well, I don't think you're supposed to be immersed.
Yeah, I know. And that's why I don't care for games like this. You know, if it's an open world sandbox game, I want to feel some immersion there. I want to feel that the traffic and the people within the world are actually living, breathing. You know, take a GTA game for example. Those people, they'll interact with you a certain way. That these people here are like an afterthought in this game, and it just seems like that's what I don't like about it personally. But even that said, like, I can understand the fun that could be had. I can get why people are having fun with it. The score does not reflect what these actual journalists are actually saying in their reviews, because they actually come out and say, if you like Crackdown, you're going to like this game. Okay, but I give it a
5 out of 10.
Yeah, 5 out of 10. It's like, what? That's what it is. It's got some of the same mechanics. It hasn't really progressed or anything, but that's what Crackdown fans wanted.
And I get it, Fonz. You're coming off of, one of the best games of generation in Assassin's Creed, which all of us played. We kind of played in a party, but we were freaking quiet in that party when we were playing that game because we were so immersed. Same with me in Spider-Man. I was immersed in that. But this game, it's like you jump in a party with your friends and you just play and you talk, and then you'll jump together and co-op. Me and Colt did a little co-op together, and we were just laughing our asses off. Like, we're just blowing up mechs, running around, throwing grenades at each other. Like, it's just a fun game. That's what this game is.
Here's what I noticed. I noticed that a lot of people, I'd say 70% of the hate that the game's getting is from people that never played the game. And to those people, if you're one of those, please fuck off. Like, no one wants your opinion on a game you haven't played, okay? That's how it is around the world. Like, if we haven't played fucking Ni no Kuni or God of War, which, you know, I loved, all of us loved here, then you don't want us talking about the game and giving our opinion on what we think the game is. So, you know, that's like me beforehand. Didn't really care about Crackdown. Actually played it, and I'm like, okay, this is actually like a 75 to me. It's not too bad. Tryhard fan says, yeah, it got boring after a couple hours, but then it got some new weapons and things ramped back up. Tryhard fan's a guy that will actually give his honest opinion on both sides, even though he's a Sony guy. We love getting the perspective of a lot of Sony guys in here because, you know, but that's the thing. It's so hard to find some like real Sony guys that are like, yeah, I don't want Xbox to die. I realize it's competition. I realize it's important. And I want to give my honest opinion on this Xbox game that I do think maybe got unfairly hammered a little bit. We really can't figure out why it's getting some 5s and stuff like that. That's kind of the point of this. If you're a Crackdown fan, there's no way this is a 5 to you. I'm not a Crackdown fan, and there's no way this is a 5 to me. So I'm just saying that it's obvious to tell who's actually played the game, who hasn't played the game, who's reviewed the game, and who actually has the footage from different areas of the game and the different weapons and how much cool shit you're seeing in the footage. Those are the people you should pay attention to. Because
I think you're right. I think you're right, Dealer. I think when it comes down to it, like even for me, I think I would have had a better time had I been co-oping the game. I think that's where I think I would have a fun time in this game. Co-oping with a friend, just mindless fun together. But for me to play it by myself, I'm just not.
And what's crazy is I only did that one time. Me and Colt co-opted for like 30 minutes, and that's it. Out of the 20 hours I got out of the game, so it would have been even more fun had I played it more in co-op. You know,
but I have to say a lot of this, like the way the reviews are and the backlash before the reviews even came in with those first impressions, I think it kind of does fall on Sumo Digital or Microsoft, whoever did this, because Ryan McCaffrey talked about, I just wanted to be a powerful guy, because we have to all admit in the beginning of the game, when you first start, the controls are a little wonky. You can't jump very high. You're a scrawny Terry Crews, and the game, like as it evolves and you get stronger, it just becomes way better. It feels more fluid. Your character is more fluid. It jumps higher. You grab things. You can traverse everything way better. In the beginning, you feel kind of like, man, I feel like a little freaking turd bucket over here doing nothing. Bitch. Yeah, like a little fucker running around, and you can't really do anything. But as you level up, that's what I loved, was the progression of how powerful my character became. And that's where I think they messed up by giving them. They should have started them in the middle of the game, kind of little powerful and do stuff, and then I think the impressions would have been far better than what.
Come on, I like Ryan a lot, but he knows better. He's a Crackdown fan. He knows that first hour you're slower and you don't jump as high. You can only jump about 10 feet, like one story. You can jump up onto one roof, you know, like that. He knows that. And they only gave him 30 minutes of the game. So yeah, you're right. They should have given them like they did in the demo for Crackdown 1. They did the demo for Gamescom 2 years ago. For Crackdown 3, they had an accelerated level up system for people playing the game. But you should know better. You guys think that they had their mind made up before they reviewed the game about what they were going to score it?
I think they were stuck.
It seems like
I think they were stuck with that tech demo. I think they were stuck with the tech demo. And that's what most people wanted to see, and we didn't get that tech demo. Let's be honest.
That's exactly what I wanted to say. That tech demo, it just didn't materialize to that, and because of that, I really think the game got docked a lot of points, because at the beginning of the generation, they really hyped the fuck out of the cloud. Man, the cloud is going to do this, the cloud's going to do that, and that was the poster child for that game. For the cloud. And when the game came out and not having those features, it was a heavy downgrade from what we saw at GDC. And I think because of that, and just being in developer hell forever, I think the game just got docked, and just, it is what it is.
Good. I think the game would have done better. Let me say this and a few other things. The game would have done better maybe if it was split in half and the price was split in half. Like, I think that multiplayer just brought it back a little bit. Salty says that Crackdown was one of the most played games on Xbox. Yes, it was the highest played paid title on Xbox, and that's really, really impressive, regardless of how people want to damage control it. You know, a lot of people are putting time into this. We've also got some super chats here. We've got Stop 6 Doc. He says, "Sup, guys? Just showing my support and love for what you guys do. And I'm not a Crackdown fan, but I like Crackdown 3. I'll give it an 84. That's a good score from somebody who's not a Crackdown fan. Thank you so much." Now, we've also got Nearly Down. He's got giggity, dude. Thanks for the super chat. And of course, we've got another one in here. Maybe I got to scroll. Here we go. Oh my God, this chat's all over the place. Here it is. We've got the Friendly Neighborhood Blue Shell, thank you so much. He says, Dealer, why are there so many gaming frauds? I don't know. Why is that, D-Batch? Why do you think there's so many gaming frauds? So many people on so many podcasts, especially, that don't even play games.
I don't know. I think people just do shit for clicks nowadays, to be honest with you, especially with this Crackdown thing. Like, all right, fine. You don't like the game. You said your opinion, move on. But, people just harp and harp and harp on it. And if you don't agree, if you're having fun in the game, I don't know. Gamers, they're fraudulent these days. I agree.
Nearly Down says, do you guys think that next-gen systems are going to stick around? Going to stick around longer than current gen? What do you think about that, D?
No, I don't think so. I think the next gen systems probably will have a life of, I don't know, I would say maybe 4 years before they cycle them out. The way technology is moving, I just don't see them sticking around for more than 4 years, to be honest, before they do another upgrade.
I agree.
Well, that doesn't mean your system won't be usable, though.
No, of course not. But they'll have the next best thing.
Yeah.
It always seems like that when technology advances. You look at cell phones, you look at anything, TVs. Things just move very fast in the industry. Everybody gets fickle. Consumers get very fickle. They want the latest and greatest, and I think that's what's going to happen with consoles. Eventually, it's going to be coming down to a 3 to 4 year cycle for sure.
Yeah, today it's been very interesting the past couple of days on Twitter. There's been those of us who've actually played Crackdown, and then there's beavers that learned how to use keyboards that get destroyed by John Linneman, and then there's all kinds of people that are just just try the game. If you don't like it, that's fine, but it's much better than talking about how the game's fucking horrible and then never even playing it.
If you like a game, talk about how you like it and what you like about it, and talk to your friends and ask them to play it and play it with you. If you don't care for a game, talk about something else. Talk about what you like. There's like D said, there's just for clicks. Like, why would you do a whole podcast about a game you never plan to play on a console or a platform you'll never want to be on? Like, it's the problem with this gaming community lately is people are so focused on negative things and bashing something they have no interest in, and they wonder why two people show up and listen to them. It's like there's so much cool stuff to talk about. I'm having so much fun. I played a rated 60 game for like a week and a half straight, like 30 plus hours, and I had an absolute blast with it.
Cole, it's like this, all these people that are following certain talking heads on these podcasts that are really bashing this game that haven't played it or have no intention of playing, never had any intention of playing it. You can just go back to podcasts from a year and a half ago and listen to these guys ramble on about how it's just Crackdown. Crackdown doesn't matter. It's a AA game. It's not on par with a God of War or anything. Now they want to put it in that category. Now they want to say, oh, well, no, because Microsoft said it's going to sit alongside Halo. No, these people are crying over nothing. They don't care about the game. Now, I say it's better. They're better suited spending their time talking even positively on their own games that they do like. I don't understand why it's always hate Xbox. It makes no sense to me, but hey, clicks and views win out, right?
You're always doing better when you're done with Xbox. You're always doing a little better when you're done with Xbox. So, hey, we got to give a shout out to Geekhead. What's going on, bud? We got so many people in the chat. Thank you guys for showing up, doing what you do. Somebody saying D-Badge don't game, the usual there. We got Jake E. We've got Elite. Oh man, we got.
I don't get my console no more. PC all the way.
Oh man, now D-Badge talking shit to the console people. Everybody, but the Cyborg.
D-Badge plays games.
Shit. So yeah, Crackdown is what it is. It's not even like we're giving the game an amazing review. We're just saying that hey, 75 from me personally, 78 from Colt. Around the same, for the rest of the panel.
79 for me.
79 for Zalker. If anybody deserves to hate, it's Zalker. He's almost in an 8.
Come at me, bro.
It's 69-70 to me. Yeah, sticking with that score.
Dealer, can we kick Fonz off the panel? Is that still we love you, Fonz.
Honestly, though, at the end of the day, it's a Game Pass title. You could try it out for $1 for your first initial month.
D, don't go there, bro. Don't go there. Don't use the Game Pass excuse for their exclusives. When they have mediocre titles to some people, it's always, but it's on Game Pass. I don't like to hear that crap. It
literally is. You don't have to go out and pay the price for it. You can get it in Game Pass. It literally is.
It's not an excuse for bad games.
I mean, if you want to rent it, do it through Game Pass. But I mean, I wouldn't use that as a reason to say, well, who cares? It ain't that big of a risk because you don't pay that much for it. I mean, if you want to rent it, do it through Game Pass, but still demand better.
Yeah, for sure.
Cyborg, no, my Sea of Thieves review is 1,000% accurate, sir. Thank you. Even to this day. What's going on, Salty? What's going on, White Iron Power? What's going on, all you guys? Hey, we got to move forward a little bit, and thanks everybody for joining us live. We've got about 500 people in here already. Hit that like button. Let's try to get to the 300 for the end of the show. And if you're watching after the fact, let's try to get through 1,000 likes. If you are watching after the fact, thank you guys so much. Shout out, bud. I'm just giving you some shit, but I really do believe in that Sea of Thieves review. It is what it is. Far Cry New Dawn impressions. Right now on Xbox, it is at a 74. PS4, it's at a 72. This is a reoccurring trend. Xbox games getting higher ratings than PS4 games here lately since the X has come out, especially. Yeah. And Colt here has played some. He's got some time into New Dawn. What are your thoughts on New Dawn, real quick?
It's I don't know. It's Far Cry 5, but it adds a little bit extra to it. Too much pink. But I don't know. I just really am enjoying it. Like, it just has a good feel. It seems to run. I know they're both at 30 frames, but it just seems to be a better frame pacing. It just feels smoother. Yes. I really like it. You just kind of collect everybody everywhere you pick up crafting materials, and that's used to craft stuff. And the health bars and the damage numbers popping up kind of adds a little extra excitement to Far Cry, because it's not supposed to be super immersive, but I like it. I don't know. I just like it.
Does it have a lot of that RPG elements like you were just explaining? Are those actually pretty prevalent in the game?
They've kind of pared it down to just like a 3-tier leveling. There's like a regular, there's a blue, a purple, and a yellow tiered enemies, and that's kind of, you'll run into blue enemies. They're regular. The purple a little tougher, and the gold tier are really tough unless you've crafted those weapons. So it's kind of like they kind of take one little corner of an RPG and kind of use that and lean on it. And the rest is just straight Far Cry 5 with like your perk system that you get by doing challenges. It's fun though. She's so elite said it's too much A button, Colt. Yeah, I mean, I'm just enjoying it, but it's a $40 title. I think it's priced about right if you liked Far Cry 5, and that's.
You haven't beaten it yet, right? Have you?
No, I'm like 6 or 8 hours in, and I hear it's like 15 to 30, so probably 15 if you just streamline it. But I'm kind of just organically going around the world, checking out outposts, clearing them, and these it's cool. I'll talk my head off.
For a 15 to 30 hour game for $40, that's actually like a pretty damn good deal, especially if you say it's similar to Far Cry 5 or probably uses the same.
Yeah, if you like Far Cry 5 and you're going to get let's say 20 plus hours. It's a good price. I would recommend it if you like that.
Well, Coke Viper says pimping ain't easy, and I gotta agree with him. Nearly down says Crackdown gets a 68 and 3/4. Oh, that's better than what it's got now. So, yeah, no one else here has played Far Cry New Dawn. I guess I'm gonna pick it up here soon.
I played a little bit of it. I mostly tested the performance on the PC.
It's nice looking, isn't it?
It's a beautiful game. I agree with you. It has a little bit of that pink undertone to it. Nonetheless, though, it does run better than Far Cry 5. They did make some optimizations to the engine, but at the same time, it is really similar to Far Cry 5. And I agree with Colt. The price of I think it's $50 here in Canada. I don't know if it's like 40 in the States or something, but for the price, I think it's well worth it. Yeah, give it a shot.
Does it look better than Far Cry 5 to you?
Yeah, it does. It looks a little bit better. Yeah, it's a little bit more refined.
It is.
That's good. I hear it looks better on Xbox too.
The color palette too, right? It's more colorful.
It does. It looks sharper. I know they're both supposed to be at 4K, but it just looks. It's a sharper looking game. They just kind of cleaned it up, I guess.
Xbox 36. Hello from Greece. Hey, Zauker, your brother's in the chat.
Yeah, sure.
Oh man,
there you go.
Everybody say it.
Malaka.
Hey, I gotta get a little love out there, man.
We gotta move forward away from this weird shit. Scalebound Switch reboot. What's going on here with the Scalebound Switch reboot? Any of you guys really looked into this too much before I go into detail?
I saw it, but like, is this confirmed, or is this like some fanboy just throwing this shit up?
This is not confirmed, but let me explain here. Microsoft owned the Scalebound IP. And there's a few theories going on out there that Microsoft could have sold the IP, which I don't think they would do, but you never know. They could have gotten cozy with Nintendo. Maybe they made a deal somewhere here or there. But you know what? we're gonna see Xbox IP start to go to Switch even on day one, like Ori and the Blind Forest. You're gonna see that on Switch day one. I bet you. Or Ori and the Will of the Wisp. Yeah, you're gonna see that on Switch day one. Wait until that happens. When that happens, you're gonna have all these fucking crackheads freaking the fuck out, and Twitter's gonna be insane. Like, you think this Crackdown stuff was bad? This is going to be a Microsoft IP launching day one on Switch. And instead of thinking like, oh, hey, I buy one copy and I get cross-play, cross-buy, cross-save, all that stuff with Switch, I'm actually gonna be mad because it's not locked down to just Xbox. I'm not going to think about what's good for me. I'm going to think about, if
my
you only get on an Xbox. Yeah, I'm going to pull out my little checklist. So wait until that happens, right? You're gonna.
Why did I buy my Xbox 5 years ago? Now it's worthless.
Yeah, it's just so dumb. So you're gonna see games like Will of the Wisp and stuff day one on Switch, and if Scalebound comes back and if they're reporting this to be on Switch, which just came from some kind of site that's kind of official but not really, I guess. I don't know what's happening here. It's on every site now, so I don't really know where it originated. But regardless, if it happens and it comes to Switch and not Xbox, that's kind of fucked up in the first place. So, I mean, what would you guys even do in the chat? Let me know what you would do if this even happened. They brought Scalebound back when it went to the Switch, and maybe not even the Xbox, or maybe if it came to both. Fonz, what is your outlook here?
I don't really care at this point, if it goes to Switch. Yes, this is a big rumor, but at the end of the day, the one question I posed on Twitter is, I wonder if all those guys who were saying that they bought an Xbox or were going to buy an Xbox for Scalebound, if they're now going to buy a Switch. That's what I really want to know. Because I guarantee you that 99.9% of them won't, because they're frauds.
Frauds.
Well, we know that. That.
I actually, for this thing, it's a little weird, right? Because if you guys remember the demo in Scalebound, the frames were dropping like crazy. This game barely ran on Xbox. It's not going to be the same Scalebound if it's going to go on the Switch. They're going to have to they're going to have to dumb some stuff down into the game, right? Because Switch is not as powerful. And so I don't know
to dumb the visuals down, but I mean,
well, not just the visuals. A lot of, like, if you remember how the game looked in that demo, it was pretty big. Like, you're flying with a dragon and you had 4-player co-op.
Well, Wolfenstein New Colossus and Doom are on the Switch, so they just dumbed down the visual settings and stuff. But who knows?
I think this is a bigger scale, though. Like, this is an open world-esque hub type thing with dragons and 4-player co-op, like you said. I mean, I can see him having dumbed down.
Like, it looks crazy. Like, it looked like it was a crazy demo. Like, you're jumping on guys like big lobsters' backs, cutting their like freaking legs off. Like, if you guys remember, like, it was pretty cool. It's pretty detailed in there, but I just don't know how this is going to transfer there. And I don't know, like, Microsoft and Nintendo have been very chummy lately, right? They've been talking a lot. They've been doing a lot of stuff. There's rumors Xbox Live is going to Switch, even though it's technically already been there, people, if you don't know that. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. I want to see where this relationship is going and see what happens between these two companies. More so than I care about Scalebound, because I mean, Scalebound's been dead to me for 2 years, right? 2.5 years. Like, I don't care anymore about it. But to see it come back is kind of
Well, I mean, that's I don't know. Once again, I'd like to know the chat's opinion. Would this be a big deal to you? Scalebound gets canceled and then comes back as a Switch game?
I'm hearing that one that broke that story said I was kind of joking when I alluded to Scalebound. It could be anything. Somebody showed me a screenshot of that. It was some Kotaku writer or something on Twitter. So, I mean, I don't know, but I think it's funny that everyone jumps and starts making videos about it when the news breaks. And someone asked me on my Crackdown review, well, what do you think if Scalebound goes to Switch? And I said, good, great. That's awesome. Like, I don't, if Halo Infinite went to Switch, would I throw a fit? Like, people act like if a game, goes to another platform that you don't get, like, the Xbox still gets to play the game. It's so funny. It's totally turned into a checklist war. Like, I have this, you don't
that's
have
being
that.
pushed and peddled by the most radical fucks on Twitter that are on the Sony side of things, right?
Yeah.
And the worst part is they're not able to see past their big ass foreheads and see that Sony are actually doing the same fucking thing. They're putting all their games on mobile. They're bringing all their things on PS Now. They're literally hiring people to bring all their games to PS Now and bring PS Now to all devices, quote unquote. Right?
Yeah, PS Now is going to make big changes next generation, probably. But like, do we even know? Like, we're not even sure where Scalebound sits as far as an IP and a licensed product. Like, we hear this from this expert says that. Like, I don't even know why this conversation is happening when you look at it that way. It's just, who knows?
Yeah. It's
and I know you don't
really
care about
weird.
Scalebound. Ever since I saw the game, I think it was at the 2014 or the 2013 reveal thing. I thought, oh, it was so cringy to me. The Beats headphones and the guy looks like Dante from Devil May Cry. It just wasn't my thing. So I was like, is this what they're doing?
Yeah.
But I know people love that sort of thing, and great.
I don't know. I don't know why people are freaking out. Once again, this is why everybody's gone to users, right? Because they're going to be putting their games on every device. And I still don't understand what some of the guys on the other side of the fence don't understand about your games are going to mobile as well. That's nothing new. Sony do that in Japan already. They've already had these job listings about it. They've already alluded to it. Your games have already been on dedicated PS Now and PS TV devices, and Samsung TVs, all this stuff. And you're just now freaking out about this?
And some PS4 games are on mobile devices in Japan already. It's already happening out there. So they're already testing the waters. I think if this is very successful for Microsoft, you better believe Sony is going to follow suit there. I mean, it's business at the end of the day. And here's the best thing about it is the fact that they're letting you play where you want. It's like Scalebound, for instance. If they do put it on Switch, as much as I was looking forward to that game, because I was looking forward to it on the Xbox, I will not buy a Switch for it. There's just no way. That's not my console of choice, so I'm not going to buy it. And you have the choice whether you want to buy something or not. If Scalebound was on both, I would just play it on the Xbox. You know what I'm saying?
It's exclusive. It's the rumors that it's exclusive to Nintendo, and the reason why this rumor's kind of running around is because Alana Pierce hinted last year that she's heard from her sources that Scalebound isn't dead and that it might be coming in a way that no one saw. And so now they're saying this, and people are like, okay.
Well, yeah, I'm still not buying a 480p machine handheld for that game.
Exactly.
It's not going to happen for me. And that's just my preference.
Are you saying graphics matter, Fonz?
Yeah, of course they matter to a degree. Yeah, of course. To a certain degree they do.
After Metro.
Oh gosh, man!
You should have heard him in a party. He was like, "Oh God!" I was
okay? Zocker, just wait till you hear my next video.
Oh man,
He's like, the testiculation in this game is amazing.
There's so the ambient inclusion is at a rate of 7.
Oh my God.
How many tessellations are there in it, dealer?
Yeah, Metro looks fucking fire. I mean, it looks insane. So this coming from a little indie, bitty indie-sized studio, comparatively to some of these other massive publisher teams. Their budget and the amount of employees they've had is just minuscule, and they've still pulled this off. It looks phenomenal, and it really does look like the E3 demo. It really does, from what I've seen. So yeah, I just blown away by that. Hey, we got to move on. We got to give a shout out to almost 600 people getting up there. Almost 600 people watching this live, guys. Hit that like button. Let's get up to 300 for the end of the show. We do appreciate it. As we move on to Square Enix, and they're kind of admitting what we all already knew. Shadow of the Tomb Raider Just Cause 4 started off pretty weak. We then see Shadow of the Tomb Raider in Game Pass, right? Which is great for people that want to actually rent the game, and almost 200 other games. And they say that they will be announcing multiple new games by E3 2019. What could this be, D-Batch? What do you think these games could be? Do you have any clue?
No clue whatsoever. No. I'm intrigued, but no, I don't have the slightest idea.
Maybe the chat would know.
I would think at least one of those would be the Avenger game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to see that. I want to see what the hell that one's all about. They teased it 3-4 years ago. So they hopefully they show something about that. As for the Shadow of the Tomb Raider, they said they shipped 4.12 million copies. They showed a degree of growth in the holiday, but again, it was a weak start is what they called it. And they're reorganizing a lot of stuff internally, through their developers. They're taking 11 developers and consolidating them together into 4 so they can have better resources and workflows and stuff like that. They're not sitting on their hands. I kind of like that. They're not just firing 800 people. They're, you know, just they're actually trying to figure out a way to make it work where their games maybe sell better or perform better or do something that no one else is doing to make people buy it.
And their games are good. So I that 4 million number, although it's not a horrible number, it's not the greatest number as well, because this game was on PC, it was on Xbox, it was on the PlayStation 4. Like it should have did more than 4 million. And I think the game deserved to do more than 4 million. It was a pretty good game.
It was my favorite game out of the trilogy, and it looked freaking amazing on the X. Like, I was like, man, this is really good. And I know, like, people complained a little, like, oh, there's not enough combat. But to me, I felt like it was perfect. Like, it was perfect pacing between combat and traversing and exploring. Like, I enjoyed the whole entire game. And I said it's my favorite one, man.
And it went back to its roots. Like, what I love about the Tomb Raider series is the puzzles. And it had a lot more puzzles than all the other games combined. So, I don't know.
Yeah, the combat and the pacing was highly variable depending on if you ran through most of the story or if you did all of the exploration with the tombs along the way, or depending on how you played it, the combat might have felt like it was a little sparse, really. So I definitely get both sides. It could have used more encounters for sure, but
it also had some of the best combat encounters of the series. Oh my gosh, especially the midpoint of the game, like that
amazing. Oil refinery. Oh
yeah, it was no spoilers. Yeah. Good.
4 million copies, though. That's actually more than I thought it would be.
So it kind of goes to show you how many sales you have to make to turn a profit, and hopefully they turn a profit.
That's just physical too, right? The 4 million. That's just physical shipped, or is that digital with it? Because they said they had digital growth.
No, I don't think that's just physical at all. So,
okay, cool.
But on either way, it'll be interesting to see that new Avengers game. Really looking forward to that. Seeing that new Batman game, which is rumored to be unveiled next month.
Batman.
We'll see if that rumor comes out to be true. If they unveil
what
that
are your
Batman
sources, dealer?
Well, D-Batch is a developer at a kiosk somewhere. He told me it's going to run at 60 frames too.
It was at a car wash. He leaned over and he said, "Al Batman."
Al Batman.
Al Batman.
It's Al Man.
He turned his head all the way around in 360 degrees and goes, "Al Batman."
What the fuck?
Just wash my car and let me get out of here.
Nope. Okay, so Nio could become an Xbox One game. It could port it to Xbox One depending on what fans, basically the support fans are going to show for that. So they did have a tweet. I saw you retweeted it, Colt. Kind of give us a background there.
Oh, you have to reset. I'm sorry. You lost me. Sorry, go ahead.
Nio. They say
yeah. They said somebody asked when's it coming to Xbox. They said, well, let's see if we can generate enough what's the word? Excitement for it, I guess. Mm-hmm. And of course, everyone's like, yeah. So we just start retweeting it. I kind of like, come on, get it out.
Nio was brought to the gamers thanks to Sony, and that's why they were bringing the bangers. Wasn't that the reason Nio was on PS4 and not Xbox?
Well,
or is that just a third-party game that
didn't it go to PC like a few months later, a year later? It wasn't like one of those PC exclusive, like those console.
That point is it's not an exclusive. It's just a game.
Right. It's not. It's made by, oh my gosh, what's the name of the team? I can't remember. I want to say Ninja Theory, but something like that. Oh my gosh, you guys help me out. It's basically like a Dark Souls meets Witcher type. I don't know. It's not really my thing, but people really like it, and it's really highly rated. So
it's actually Team
Ninja.
Is it Team Ninja? Yeah, I always mix those two up.
Yeah, close. But yeah, it's a game
I think it's Niho, by the way.
Tecmo, Team Ninja and the Tecmo team. Yeah.
Someone in the chat says it's pronounced Neo. I'm sorry about that.
The Knights who say Ni.
Did not know
that was a game that I was interested in, but other games came along that I started to play and I got into. And now, even if it comes to the Xbox, I don't know, with like Sekiro coming, Shadows Die Twice. And then I've got that other game on the PlayStation. That other samurai. Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah. So I'm like, where is this going to fall for me? Like, it's just an afterthought. So,
well, I think it's more of getting the Xbox gamers that haven't played it or don't have it to get kind of like acclimated with it, because there is a Neo 2 coming out, and I know people are in development, and they would want that to be on Xbox.
Yeah. Perfect for Game Pass. Then throw it in Game Pass. Yes, I'll try it.
Waiting for, like, we saw No Man's Sky and Near Automata, or however you say it. I call it Automata. I think that's the correct pronunciation. Those both came to Xbox and had really good success in sales. So what are they waiting for? Port that sucker.
I don't know. I don't really know anyone who cares, though. That's kind of the grand point. I mean, most people just don't care. Maybe we can get some people in that do. If you do care, go let the developer know on Twitter.
Yes.
They want your feedback, and basically, if you suckle on the teat a little bit, they'll go ahead and give you a little bit of that.
I definitely will say that Xbox gamers need more games like that.
Mm-hmm.
They do. They can use more games like that.
Yeah, we want to know how many times you had to look up the skirt to get the achievement. That's the kind of information we want to know, Fonz. So, just in case you didn't know, that was an achievement in Nier Automata where you could see how many times your friends looked up the chick's skirt and got the achievement. I mean, it's like, what the fuck? So anyway,
that's just weird, bro. That's just weird.
He didn't even.
Fonz just like and pushed it away from him. Yeah.
I'm right now. I'm like that GIF of that cat pushing the computer away, or the monkey pushing the computer away.
Yeah. And D's over in the corner raised his hand like, I got that achievement.
D's yeah, it was.
He's like, oh yeah, I was the first one, man. I got it.
You should have saw the tessellation under there, huh? Hey, I want to talk about Anthem. Zalker has played the hell out of Anthem over the past couple days or whatever, and we've got some, not only the review impressions going around the internet, which we'll start with Colt with, and then we'll go to Zalker. He's had time to nail in a lot of time. He's one of those motherfuckers that like to grind his soul away on these types of games, because after all, like I said on Twitter, it's not a real BioWare game. So, Colt, what are the big YouTubers and stuff saying about this?
Well, I mean, they're saying what was it? Skill Up said that he was really disappointed in it. He said he was championing this game. He wanted to be great. He knew it was something he would like, and it's got bugs. It's got crash issues. There's loading screens. He doesn't like the way the leveling works. Right now on OpenCritic, some OpenCritic is like Metacritic, but I guess it's a little more trustworthy. Right now, it's sitting at a 65 with 12 critic reviews, and the official embargo, drops in 2 days from now.
Yeah. Well, so as somebody like, for me, like, I was always like giving this game a side eye for months and months, and then when I played the demo, when I was able to play the VIP demo, I thought the combat was really fun, and I was looking forward to playing more of that. So when I got the full game on EA Access, to play 10-hour trial, I was like, this is where I'm going to make my decision whether I buy it or not. So I played the first campaign that they give you, mission that they give you in the campaign, and it was excellent. Like, I was like, okay, this is cool. I can see where this is going. It's fun. And then I shut it down. The next day I got on and I said, let me do some free play. I went into free play and it was nothing but a nightmare. Like, the rain started coming down, and when the rain started coming down, it was frame rates were all over the place. Enemies were disappearing. I was fighting alongside others. We're fighting Titans. They're disappearing. And I'm like, what is this? Like, this is the same mess I played with the demo. And I said, you know what? They had a chance to get my money for this game, but first impressions mean a lot. And this is like a second impression, right? And I'm like, I'm done. I can't in good conscience spend $60 on a game that is essentially broken, because that to me is broken. And that is the kind of stuff I wish gamers would go after, instead of games that are just fine that they may not like. Go after the games that are broke. This game is broke. Say something.
Well, you can't mess with people's hype, though, Fonz. When you do that, they attack you.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Anthem defenders out there, and I'm like, dude, I'm not shitting on the gameplay. The gameplay is fun. It's the broken parts I don't like. And sure, there's things about the game I don't like the respawns. There's load screens for respawns and stuff. There's load screens for load screens, okay, in this game.
Hey, Jose Torres says, load screen simulator. Is there still a load screen when you walk in a cave, Fonz?
Yes, there's still load screen. There's load screen when you come out of the cave too. It's load screens on top of load screens, but that's besides the point. My point is, I would deal with load screens if the game was working well. It's not.
How about the progression? Like, I'm hearing complaints about core stuff they can't patch in. They can work on performance, and maybe they can get rid of load screen, but.
That's another thing. Somebody says it and said, oh, well, they're releasing a patch on the 22nd. They should have released a patch on the 15th. They said it was ready. Why wouldn't they have done that? First of all. Second of all, no patch is going to fix the load screens. No patch is going to fix the end game. The end game is also another scary issue I have that's making me stay away from this game. That's all I want to say.
So basically, there's several bigger YouTubers saying, "Hey, I played through the story. The story's garbage. This is not a BioWare story game. A BioWare game. It doesn't feel like a BioWare game." Then there's people saying the in game is fucked, and then there's people saying there's bugs. Zalker, you put a lot of time into the game and grinding through all this bullshit. Let us know, kind of, for the people who are curious, if they should spend their hard-earned money on this.
I'm gonna have to go with, I'm a little bit mixed because as I played the game, I didn't run into a lot of the problems.
Keep in mind, Zalker's Anthem.
I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of Anthem. Like, I've been looking forward to this game for a long time, and I put a fuck ton of hours into it. Okay, and I have to say, the beginning is awesome, but as you progress through the story and as you progress through the game, you start seeing little hollow points, like how hollow the game really is. And I'm actually making a video about this tomorrow to go really in depth with it, because I was disappointed in a lot of things, and it's not the goddamn load screens. It's not the servers. It's not those things that I'm annoyed with. I'm annoyed with game design mechanics that cannot be patched out in one patch. It cannot be patched out in the next 4 months.
It's the gameplay design, the game itself, the way that it was made, the end game, the leveling, the missions, the story, the things that aren't really the patch that's coming on the 22nd.
All right. So these people, these big Anthem defenders, are you guys fans of the Diablo series? Because basically that is the end game. You're just going to be grinding and grinding for the loot in the game, which I heard is just reskins. It's nothing special, and you're just going after this stuff and playing the same content over and over with higher difficulty levels. That is the end game. That's it.
Well, Fonz, the difference is between those two is that Diablo has 3 games to go off of and multiple areas of different environments. So when you're doing these rifts and you're getting up there in level in Diablo to the end game, it's all randomized. So you're seeing different stuff throughout your gameplay. Anthem doesn't fucking have that. They don't have the history. They don't have the different variety, and they don't have different variety of environments where you go into. So that is a huge problem.
For me, it's the end game is all about this difficulty level, this grandmaster level shit. And that is not a good end game for me. Sorry, it's not. That's
I enjoy it. I enjoy it if the AI is programmed properly. And so far and that's the thing, this game does have foundational things that you can build off of. The AI in the game is actually pretty good. Like, I was an interceptor and I go up to this creature and I'm about to fuck it up, and it literally jumped away and another one hit me and knocked my ass down. Like, I was like, cool, you adapted. And when I went on easy, it just sat there and took it in the ass. And I get it. Like, hey man, it's
you're preaching to the choir when it comes to the gameplay. I like the combat. The gameplay is not. It's the issue with the end game where they want to take this, and also the fact that I'm having, or a lot of people are, it's not just me. You can look on forums, you can look on Twitter. There are server issues like crazy. Disappearing enemies is unexcusable. I'm sorry, that is broken. When you were trying to take down a boss or something and they disappear, that is broken. That is broken. So
yeah, I can smell the tears coming off of Fon's microphone.
I am so heartbroken because
he was excited about the game. Yeah,
I do like the combat. Yeah.
I mean, hey, we all were hyped for Anthem, were we not? We saw it 2 years ago at E3, right?
You and I, dealer, we held back pretty good.
No, I was hyped for Anthem. I had that bitch pre-ordered forever ago.
I tried to tell you.
The reason that it died off for me is because I figured out that, they're just copying the Destiny formula, and this is going to be another looter game.
You asked if people should spend their money on this. If you're a BioWare fan, don't buy this fucking game. The story is gonna kill you, especially when you get to a certain part. There's nothing that makes it a BioWare game to me. And I love story-driven games. I'm not a big story-driven game player like Dealer and all of them, but I do love it occasionally, and I like BioWare's. They're epic and everything like that. This game starts off epic and then fucks off in the middle of it. So I'm just gonna throw that out there like that.
I gotta ask you, Zucker, and Dealer as well, because it's more tech related, I guess. Here's my issue is, and a lot of people, the defense force is saying, well, it'll be fixed by the time it launches. If I'm not correct, it launched on the 15th for many players. This game had 2 launch dates, the 15th and the 22nd. These were hard launch dates, not, you just get to play early access. No, These are launch dates. They should have fixed this. Am I right? I mean, this shouldn't be an issue on the 15th.
It's more of a like what they call as a soft launch. They launched it on PC if you're an Origin, and then if you have EA Access, you get 10 hours. So their servers aren't flooded with people playing for 35 hours straight, right?
So it's going to be worse when it actually launches.
It's going to be worse when it launches, but then they said they put out a patch that were very transparent about what they're fixing in the 22nd when it comes out. But to me, again, that scares me because as a developer, I know when you bring out a patch, other shit gets broken. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the update. They said they're fixing loading screens. They're like cutting it by a substantial percentage. They're doing some other stuff with it. And it's like, I don't even give a flying F about that stuff. To me, it's actually the game design and your progression through it. That's the problem that you can't patch out. You need to go back to the drawing board for certain shit to fix it.
So it's got two big problems is what we're trying to say. For one, technical issues across the board for a lot of people. You may not have them, you may have them. Secondly, balance, gameplay design, narrative, in-game grinding bullshit. Part of what Zach was talking about was you'll be going through the story and all of a sudden to get into a certain area or to do a certain thing in the story, you have to stop in the middle of your narrative journey and go grind and find a bunch of bullshit for a couple hours just to get access into a certain room. Like this is the kind of dumb shit we're talking about.
Are those you're being teleported to the rest of your team in a loading screen because you were behind them 37 feet? Is that still in there?
No. Yeah, that's in there. That's in there. But that's another problem I ran into more than anything else was I was right next to my goddamn teammate and it's like teleporting you. I'm like, I'm right here.
And you go to a loading screen and
then I go to a loaded screen and then I load it in and then I just loaded like 5 feet next to my friend where I was.
In Destiny, it was like an instantaneous teleport up to your squad mate. In Anthem, it's like it's a freaking loading screen.
And this is what I'm going to say this real quick. And I'm going to be talking about this in a lot of detail tomorrow. But this is the first game I've ever played where it's an online only game that encourages you to play with your friends, right? That's what these games do. It's the first game I've ever fucking played where it encourages you to play alone. That's the first time. And Fonz, bro, go on tonight and I'm going to give you a part and I'm going to explain it to you. It's too much to go into right now, but I'm going to go into detail about this. And it freaking infuriated me and my friends. Like were like, it killed like 2 of them. They're like, fuck this game. Division 2's next. Literally what
yeah. And you know what? Ryan Landy said it best right now. He says playing games shouldn't make the gamer annoyed or pissed. And he's right on the money with that shit. That's the same shit I got with Spider-Man with MJ missions. That's the same thing I got with those MJ missions. The same thing in Spider-Man that's what pissed me off about that game. It's like I don't know why these companies, they do stupid shit. Here you are making a looter shooter, trying to end Destiny, trying to end the Division, and yet you failed miserably. Yeah. The Division 2 and Destiny have nothing to worry about on Anthem. I'm telling you that right now.
Nope. They have. Well, I don't know about Destiny. We'll see what they can do, but Division 2 has nothing
to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, but what I'm saying is even my buddies, they don't play, ask Dealer, ask Colt, they don't play single player games at all. They play these games, and they got pissed to the point where they were like we were just quiet in the chat and they were just like furiated and they're like, fuck this, let's just go do this on our own because it was just better to do it on your own.
Basically there's a section of the game where you got to, like I said, stop, grind, find stupid resources to continue with your journey, right? It's some bullshit. But if you do it together with friends, those resources don't count. You got to do it by yourself. So it's dumb. This is Eternal Shadow says that Respawn say EA had no hand in Apex Legends project, which by the way they did. EA fucking paid for it. They gave them the green light. They told them what to do. Do you think the EA had their hands in the Anthem project? Yes, they did. This was not something BioWare would not go from making Knights of the Old Republic, Mass Effect, and more legendary shit to the exact opposite
to a third-person Destiny.
Okay, so I watched a video by this guy who's really looking forward to Anthem for years, and this guy seemed really genuine, and he's talking about the game. He's trying to be polite and everything, but he honestly says that this is Andromeda 2.0.
Wow.
He says it's to him, it's the story, everything wrapped up into it. It's Andromeda with better facial animations. That's what he was saying.
Well, people are like, I love the combat. And I'm like, that's Mass Effect Andromeda combat, well, with actual flying incorporated into it.
And I'm not gonna go the same trope as this is EA. Fuck them. I'm really not, because what was the last games BioWare brought out? It was
this is both parties, right? This is both parties.
I'm putting both on notice, including BioWare. I'm really putting them on notice. Like, what the fuck were you thinking? Did you do any user testing or anything? Like anything at all? Like, holy shit.
You're selling the game on the pedigree of BioWare. Yeah. And BioWare's last game was this BioWare anyway. This team was Dragon Age Inquisition, reviewed well, people liked it. Then they go from that to the opposite of everything they've ever made, the opposite of their entire pedigree, and they sell you this game based off that. And basically, we're going to sum it up on this because we've been on this for a while. I was looking for this game. I was looking for the BioWare games, but try it on EA Access. And do not buy this game. Try it out. We've all played it. And there's a lot of bad stuff coming out about it. Way more controversy than I've even heard from people that play Crackdown. Even people are hammering the fuck out of this game. Whereas in Crackdown's case, they're like, "Wow, that was more fun than I thought it would be." Yeah. Anthem, they're like hammering this fucking game hard. So,
Caleb Langner says, "Seems like February is a cursed month for games." That's a really good point.
Actually, no, because Metro's
doing well. It's at an 80. So that's good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I can see where he's coming from. And I just want to close it out by saying, it bums me out to see a big new game like this that we were excited about for a while, to see it not delivering so far. It's a bad thing. We don't want to see that, especially from a developer we all like.
I'll say this real quickly, just from playing like the beta. I'm not too far into the game like you guys, but already I can see, the repetition that I'm gonna be going through with this game. And it's sad because it controls so well, the flying mechanics, everything about the combat. I love it, but yeah, I gotta agree with you guys on the issues. And I had a lot of issues last night alone just getting in. It kept saying, I don't know, I got some type of server timeout. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I got that too. Once I beat the prologue, it kicked me out right away, and then I couldn't get back in for a few minutes, and I was like, what is this the experience I'm gonna have? It was crazy.
And people, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna play this game still. I'm gonna do the end game. That's just because I'm a fuckhead like that. I'm gonna do what I need to do to play the game because I enjoy those games and I enjoy playing with my friends, and this is just gonna hold us off hopefully till Division 2. I'm gonna play all my single player games too, but I don't know, man. I'm weird like that. I want to play it. I want to make sure that it's what I think it is, and so far it's there.
Also, another thing that annoyed me about the game, I don't know, for those that have LG TVs that have Dolby Vision, a lot of the times, at least on PC, when I fired the damn game up,
it kicks in automatically.
It kicks, but it wouldn't display it properly. It was like a purple screen. I had to alt tab out just to get the proper thing. And I want to do some benchmarks on the game, so it's all cloud saves. There's no local save, so like once you go into the game, you can't erase that save and start all over again. That's it, so that's kind of annoying by those things as well.
Yeah, I tried the beta / demo on PC for like 10-15 minutes, and I had to take it off of borderless and go to full screen and change the refresh and all this dumb shit to get it to work. It was horrible, but that's why, when people say, hey, why you play on console? I'm like, well, that's why I don't have to fuck around and deal with any bullshit, it just works. So
tinker.
But Anthem, we encourage all of you to try it yourselves. We've all tried it. Let us know what you think in the comments if you were watching after the fact. Also, shout out to all you guys watching, almost 600 watching live, guys. Hit that like button. Let's try to get to 300 for the end of the show. 1,000 if you're watching after the fact. It really helps more than you know. All this Anthem talk is draining because we were all looking forward to the damn game, and it's the opposite of what BioWare would have made normally. I don't understand it. I hope there's a documentary about this damn game at some point. Seriously,
I'll make one.
It's the reason I got Origin Access. I'm so disappointed. I forked out all that money thinking at least I'm going to get one good quality title. And
man, EA, they just rear their heads all the time. It's not a BioWare game. That's the bottom line for me. It's not BioWare, guys. This is not a BioWare game.
It's exactly what I said it was, a month ago or whatever. So it is what it is. I'm still going to put a little bit more time and stuff into it, but holy shit.
What else do you have to talk about besides Anthem?
Oh, man. Yeah, we should move
on. How's that for a segue?
To Google's keynote that they've announced. Google, they're really diving sack first into gaming, and they have announced a keynote for March. D-Batch, what do they need to do to really make an impact? They are saying, all right, we are officially, Player 2 has entered the arena. We are officially jumping into gaming, and we're doing it loud and proud. We got our own keynote in March. What do they need to do to make a big impact and change this industry to really combat against all of these big players?
First of all, show us the goods. Show us something that we're not really seeing on the other consoles. Something that's, makes your platform unique for starters. I'd like to see them implement the cloud because they definitely got the servers to do it. So show us what you can do with the cloud and the price point. Come in cheaper than these consoles. Give us a reason to get your console by at least giving us a price so that we can try it out. And I think exclusives matter. I heard some rumors in the past that they were acquiring some studios that they were going to make some games. I'm not sure how true that is, but have some exclusives, some good exclusives. If anything we've learned from this generation is that exclusives do matter and it can help your platform tremendously. Those are the things that they need to do, in my opinion.
Yeah, somebody says, how is Anthem not a BioWare game if it's built by BioWare? And New answered perfectly. It's a BioWare game that's built around EA's constant need to make money. And it's the opposite type of game that BioWare would actually make. Like a lot of that team, a lot of the BioWare guys, Casey Hudson has been in and out of the office, like leaving, coming back, leaving. And it's obvious that this isn't a traditionally BioWare style game. It doesn't have any of that DNA in it. It doesn't feel like, from what I've seen or heard about. And I don't know. It is what it is.
It's just not a traditional. It's not a traditional BioWare game. That's what I mean when I say it's not BioWare. It's not traditional at all, and it's nothing. Like you said earlier, I wouldn't think that they would make a game like this without EA's involvement. I really don't.
They wouldn't. They wouldn't. EA said, "Hey, make a fucking looter shooter Destiny clone with jetpacks with some other differences, and let's get it going." And that's what they were given. I mean, it's on Frostbite, and even the fact that it's on Frostbite, known for these massive maps, and you still got load screens to go into a cave.
Well, Frostbite. See, that's actually what I was just to bring up to close this out. Is that the Frostbite engine is EA is forcing the Frostbite, and I'm saying forcing. They're forcing the Frostbite engine on every game they have, because they want that engine to be amazing. Yet for something like Anthem, that's a big open world, very vertical, very in-depth, has a lot of shit going on in it, the Frostbite engine is not there yet to handle all of that. So they're forcing this on them, and they have we talked about this a few months ago, Rand brought it up, they have over 1,000 developers, programmers working on their cloud engine to basically optimize the Frostbite engine and all their engines to basically work simultaneously and be effortless for games like this, but it's not there yet. So Anthem is coming out without these freaking good optimizations for their engine, and that's why there's a million load screens. So EA is entitled fucking them up with the load screens because they're forcing them to use that engine.
Yeah. Now we were talking about Google though, right? I mean, before we got interrupted about Anthem again. Okay, so my thoughts on this whole Google thing: just don't make an Ouya type fucking console. Okay, that's not going to sell. As far as I think them getting in the game, they've got the pockets to do it.
Aren't they going strictly streaming based? Like
I didn't know they were going console. I didn't know they were going console. I thought
they're going streaming based. Oh, okay.
I think so.
Yeah, it's going to be it's a no from me, dog.
Gosh, Fawn's living in the late 90s.
So no for me, dog. Well, that's an advantage, right? Because anybody can just download an application and run their software and play their games, right? So that's an advantage in itself.
Do they have any games? I thought my friend said something about some game they're coming up with that's like a Dota type game that's going to be their own.
Well, we know they're running those third parties. Like Odyssey was a big test mule for their streaming service, right? You tried Odyssey.
Yeah.
Do you remember the days of, hey, the cloud will never be anything, it'll never work, and you guys stopped talking about the cloud and it's impossible, and now look at it, right?
I got to tell you, when I actually became one of those doubters after a while. I was speaking about the cloud so highly, but for so long we didn't see the cloud. And honestly to tell you, when I tried Google Stream, I was just amazed. I just would take the controller and just flick it just to see the response time of it. It was such an impressive feat to have it running like that.
Well, D, what I've seen from what they've tested in Google is all I've seen them test is single player based games. I haven't heard anybody play a multiplayer game. So I don't know how well it's going to work with multiplayer, because obviously we know it takes a lot more latency. You have to actually be, it's an advantage, right, to have that.
Latency is much more important, yeah.
Yeah, latency. So I've only known them to test single player games on the Google Stream, and I want to see what they do. And I really do hope they get studios and make more games, because fuck it, that's more games for us. And I want to see how they are, and I want to see them compete with everybody. More competition is better for us, people. So I'm excited to see what they do. I don't think they're going to do a console. They're going to stick with streaming, but I don't know what kind of games they're going to showcase on it and be like, hey, this is why you should be on our platform.
Mm-hmm. Well, in either case, Zachary, what do you think that, because like I said, Google announcing their keynote coming up in March, they're like, hey, we're here to stay. We're doing gaming. We're going big. We're putting a lot of money in. We've got the funds to compete with Microsoft and Sony. What do you think they need to do to leave a lasting impression and change the industry?
Innovate like everybody else. Like when you come in, you got to go in hard. Like when Xbox and Microsoft, when they first started, if you watch a lot of interviews from the people that started Xbox, they literally went everywhere and just bought games to have games on Xbox. They just bought a bunch of games, bought a bunch of studios, just went crazy and just like, yeah, that sounds good. We'll fund it. That sounds good. We'll fund it. Everything. They didn't care. They were just throwing shit on the wall to see what stuck. And that's how we got Halo 2 on top of it. So that's what I think Google needs to do is they're going to have to spend a shit ton of money because they're starting from a base of zero. They have nobody playing games, right? They have nothing they're not in the industry. They weren't at E3, nothing. So this is to show us what they're doing. And if they just come out and say, hey, we're just a streaming service that you can play on Google Chrome or on your phone, it's not going to go over well, especially if you don't have like different games. Bring something more to the table instead of a streaming service that we know other companies like Microsoft are working on because we already have a base there, right? We have a base of games on Xbox and Game Pass where we can just stream them when that comes out. Why should we spend money and tie us down to your Google Chrome thing?
Yeah. Hey, I want to give a shout out to over 600 people watching this live, guys. Hit that like button. Let's try to get to 300 for the end of the show. Shout out to This Is Gaming Mafia. We've got Stormwalker, Dave. What's going on, Dave? That's a good username. All of you guys rocking out with us. You're the best of the best. We're talking about Google officially announcing their keynote in March. It's kind of a big deal. We've heard about Google entering the gaming realm. Same for Apple for a long time, but Google are finally putting that foot in, right? They're putting their foot in the door.
But isn't Google already there with their Android-based games and stuff? Like,
well, they got the Google Play Store, which is their app store. They sell games on, but this is like them saying, "Hey, we got a keynote now. We're actually going to make announcements. We're going to, announce things."
The gaming's got
and the Google Play Store game.
But if it's not streaming to your mobile devices, what I mean is it's essentially the same shit. You know what I'm saying? You might get higher quality games, but you're playing it on the same devices.
Well, the difference is, Fonz, is like Steam right now, right? Valve and all them, Steam, they used to make games specifically for them, and all you could do is play that on Steam. Now, I'm not talking about just exclusives. I'm just talking about they used to make games. Google right now, they have the Google Play Store, but they're not sitting there making games on their own, supporting and making development. That's what's the difference.
And those games are not any type of AAA games. Those games are mediocre at best. You know what I'm saying? They're little 5-minute burners.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. I think I'm just going to side eye it till they come out with something and I can actually see it,
So what's happening is like these people that are on the mobile market, like there's a huge gaming mobile market of casuals playing these little dinky mobile games, and that's a huge thing. They're seeing the piece of the pie. Google's seeing how big console gaming's getting. Like it's a massive thing. We've seen games like launch bigger than movies on console, and they're like, we want a piece of that. And at the same time, Microsoft and Sony are looking over at the mobile side saying, look at all these millions of people playing on their phones. We want a piece of that too. Yeah, so the cool thing is you're kind of seeing this amalgamation of gaming coming to everything. And the cool thing about xCloud and what PS Now will morph into is that we'll get to see AAA games on our tablet or on our phone at console quality. And like it's just really good.
That's cool, and I see what you're saying, Cole, but at the same time, if Google is trying to get into the console market, why don't they jump into the console market and not do the streaming thing?
They're not really trying to do the console market. Right. They're trying to. They're just doing the streaming thing, which is more accessible.
They're trying to get those console type games on the mobile. They're trying to say we want a piece of that pie. Microsoft and Sony are looking at the other across the river and saying we want a piece of that mobile pie because there's all those people playing Candy Crush. Like you don't play Candy Crush, play Assassin's Creed.
Hey, I gotta give a shout out to Big Kahuna. What's going on, brother? This guy's been rocking out. Jesus, I've known this motherfucker forever. We've also got Ryan Landis. We've also got Ashtray Gaming, Stick Figure, all you motherfuckers. I gotta give
in the end, what you're saying then is that the future is going to be filled with people walking around with controllers.
Well, yeah, maybe that's not kind of like you guys are looking at it like, oh, the console market, the mobile market. The thing is that these companies aren't looking at it as just that.
Yes.
They're looking at it as the gaming market.
Yes,
gaming in general is just killing it. That's just it. Like we talked last week about it, and I said like a little spiel about it, that gaming has become so big that every company in the world that has the money that can get into it, tech companies, is going to get into gaming. That's all, because it's so big.
I got a fantastic idea for us. Let's all come up with, let's put out a product line of just new fanny packs out there, because we're going to need them for these controllers and stuff. We're going to need them.
I'm not kidding. When xCloud comes out, I'm going to buy a 10-inch tablet from the Verizon store, and I'm going to take one of my Xbox controllers and I'm just going to put it in my desk. And if I feel like playing a game at lunch break or at my 15-minute break, I'm going to do it. It'll just be there. I'll just turn it on.
I'm going Madbox.
You know what? I say we make that RDX fanny packs. They're coming out soon, guys.
Well, Fonz, I'm different, man.
Somebody
I leave my house
one of those up for us on Twitter.
I leave my house with a backpack anyways, man. Like I walk around with my laptop. Like I have a laptop, I have all that stuff, so I have to walk around with it anyways. Like
you heard it here, Zucker wears a fanny pack. Hey,
hell yeah, I do.
Hey, we got to move forward.
Rainbow Tiger pack.
They're dragging this shit out, but yeah, Google, they're having a keynote. You know, it's a good thing. Competition is what it is. We'll see what happens. Google's got a lot of money, so we'll see where they put it. Also, what's going on with this, Colt? PS Now isn't good enough. What's this article about?
I got ticked when I saw this. Like they said that PS Now is not good enough. You know, it's $20 a month. Basically, you know, you can kind of get a better deal, just like with Game Pass, but it's got over 700 games. It's got like 400 PS3 games, some PS2 games, and a bunch of PS4 games. And this article saying it's not good enough. But one of the beefs they have with PS Now is there's not enough new games in there. But there's some amazing titles on there, and I don't think that's really the problem. I think the problem is the streaming infrastructure. Well, but like the titles are really good. It's got a robust library.
It's going to be a matter of time for their first party shows up day and date, just like Xbox.
Right.
Can't you download some of their games too?
Select PS4 games, yes.
PS4, yeah.
Which is really good.
Here, for me, it's about the infrastructure, and it's also about the pricing. I think $20 is a little steep to rent games every month.
Yeah, but I mean, you're getting $200 with Game Pass for $10, and you're getting $700 for $20.
Yeah, it doesn't matter the amount of games when it comes to when you're talking about hundreds. But at that point, like for me personally, it's just it comes down to the dollar, and $20 seems extreme. If it was 15, even $5 less, it would seem more. You know,
well, here's the funny part.
Tier where you only get the downloadable PS4 games, because most people don't give two shits about streaming ugly ass PS3 games with 150 milliseconds input lag. They don't give two shits about that.
Well, here's another thing the article said, which is pretty funny. They said a lot of the games in PS Now are games that you already own because of PS Plus. And I'm like thinking, I keep saying this, allow people to play those games on PS Now free of charge if they already own them through PS Plus or digital. Well, like that's just this disconnect.
The difference is that the price to me, like what Fonz is saying, is it is the price. Like this is more expensive than Netflix. This is more expensive than Game Pass. This is more expensive than a lot of things, and you're getting good games. I get it, but they're older games that people have played. Like in Game Pass, the price is like perfect, and you're getting like Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Mutant Year Zero, games like that. Like, and then not to mention the first party games.
You're also getting Xbox. There's 50, 60 Xbox 360 games in Game Pass as well. And
Colt just put on his salesman tie right now. He's like,
no, I'm saying Zucker's saying there's a bunch of old games in PS Now. It's the same thing with Xbox Game Pass. Well, that's a good chunk of old games.
That's the problem.
Those are playable locally as well.
Yeah, exactly. And you download them, and a lot of the PS3 games you can't download. You can't play them locally.
You can't download any PS3 game.
Hey, you can't download any.
Yeah, give a shout out to Noob Nukem. Kaboom, boom, 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 Noob Nukem.
When you look at the pricing for, say a Netflix or a Hulu or any of these streaming services when it comes to movies and stuff, it's like when it gets past that $15 point, people start really questioning it. I'm telling you, it's the price. It's that $20. Oh, yeah. It's too much. $5 less, I think this would do.
70% of your entire catalog is streaming, right? Which is like, and then you got only select PS4 games, which many of which are older. Whereas Game Pass, you got 200 games in there. All of them are downloadable. All of them run really well, and most of them are actually pretty current. A lot of them are pretty current, and then you've got a lot of them are enhanced, if not most all Xbox One games that are modern are definitely enhanced. And then you've got all new Xbox exclusives or Xbox titles in there that are there day one, which creates a need or an incentive to actually subscribe to the thing. I'd say that it's just more appealing even with less software. Chat, I'd like to know what you think about that. More, but with a crap ton of them being streaming with a ton of input lag and PS3 graphics, or, and some of them being downloadable, but they're older, or everything being downloadable, running locally, running well, no latency, plus the newer titles as well. Let us know what you'd be interested in. And the prior is obviously $10 a month. PS Now would be $20 a month, you said. I would definitely go with Game Pass for sure. No thought. No doubt about it.
Game Pass, though, you can download everything, so
yeah,
to me, just playing natively is what I like. So that's why I don't look at PS Now as something being that relevant to me, with only select games being able to download. So it's not for me. I've tried it before. I honestly, when I tried it, this was a couple years ago, 3 years now, it was complete dog shit. I didn't like
it. Yeah. So, oh man, let's just go ahead and skip a few of these topics here. Actually,
I'm gonna dealer sorting through the trash. He's like,
I'm gonna go ahead and skip some of these topics actually, because some of these are not absolutely necessary. We went too long on some of these. Does PS Now upscale? Back impact games, Shoguns, everything upscales. If it fits your screen correctly, it's gonna upscale. Doesn't mean the game's going to look any better, really. It's just going to scale up to like a higher resolution image or display better.
No is your answer. I mean, every game ever displayed on your 4K TV is technically upscaled. So no, they're not upscaled.
It is not going to look better. Is what I'm trying to say. It's going to do what it's doing. So D-Batch, lead on this. Ray tracing is possible on console. Just needs fast compute cores. As we've been talking forever now. We've been telling people that you don't need RT cores. You don't need all this marketing bullshit to do ray tracing. You just need really fast, efficient cores to do ray tracing. It's possible on next-gen consoles. What did the Metro Exodus dev say on this, D?
Yeah, so yesterday I was covering the Eurogamer.net article, and they asked him about ray tracing. And I'll give you the direct quote what he said. He says, in terms of viability, ray tracing on next generation consoles, the hardware doesn't have to be specifically RTX cores. Those cores aren't the only thing that matters when it comes to ray tracing. They are fixed function hardware that speeds up the calculations, specifically related to BVH intersection test. Those calculations can be done in static compute if the computer cores are numerous and fast enough. And this is the part that got my attention, which we believe will be on the next gen consoles. In fact, any GPU that is running DX12 will be able to run DXR, since DXR is just an extension of DX12. Yeah, like you were saying, Dealer, we've been saying this for the longest time. Ray tracing, you need a lot of compute to calculate all those calculations, right? So the ray tracing cores, yes, they're made specifically to make all these calculations possible. But if you have a great GPU that has a lot of compute power, it can still do it. AMD's already gone on the record saying that they're working on this for the software level and, of course, for the hardware level. Now, Navi's their next architecture. We're pretty certain that it's going to have ray tracing in it, or it's going to be capable of doing it. So it's I don't know. It is what it is, to be honest with you. A lot of people, they laugh at us when we say it's going to be in the next generation consoles. Like, oh, it's not going to be powerful enough. No, it can't do it. I think it's going to be in these consoles. You got Sony working on putting in ray tracing in their Gran Turismo games. You got Microsoft that make DX12. So do you think that they're not going to put their latest addition to their API in their next generation console? Come on.
Well, the people that are laughing are people that have never been. I mean, like I said, my track record is pretty fucking good. And if these people are sitting there laughing at me, they're fucking idiots, because I've been pretty on top of this shit. And for somebody that just started PC gaming 6 months ago, a year, sit there and act like you know what the fuck you're talking about after all the shit I've been right about, you're crazy. I definitely think that it's definitely coming. I definitely think that we've seen the demo with Gran Turismo. And like you said, DirectX ray tracing is an extension built into DX12. Microsoft are probably going to leverage this and some other stuff that we haven't really heard about in a while, like DirectX physics, in some of their newer games as well. Makes perfect sense. So I don't know why it wouldn't happen, D. I mean, why? Because NVIDIA told you that you needed a DirectX cores or RTX cores, right?
That's the whole thing. People think that NVIDIA invented ray tracing. No, Microsoft is implementing ray tracing, and NVIDIA is actually using Microsoft's ray tracing. So they're just using a different, they just have like a layer on top of it, right? But they're using Microsoft DirectX ray tracing. So I don't understand why people think it's just NVIDIA that can do this. And the ray tracing that's on NVIDIA, I don't want to dog people that went out and got 2080 Ti's and 2080s. They're fantastic GPUs, but for the ray tracing capabilities, like AMD said, like all the developers aren't on board for this right now. To have a proper launch for ray tracing, you need all the developers, in the same place, thinking the same thing at the same time, whatever. Yeah. And to be honest with you, the only way to make this mainstream is to put it into the consoles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said, it's you just said it. Developers have to be in the right place, the right frame of mind. Technology's got to be there. The GPU power has got to be there. And right now, it's just unoptimized brute forcing of ray tracing. It's very, very demanding. It's very, very unoptimized. And people take this first generation take on it as, holy shit, it'll never be doable in the future on consoles. When in fact, there's a ton of ways they can implement this. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on there. And that's the Metro Exodus developers. If you played Exodus, particularly on the Xbox One X, that is the best looking game I've ever seen. Like, this game destroys every other game. If you played on an Xbox One X in 4K HDR, it looks insane. Like, it looks like the E3 demo. So it's the real deal. And if I'm going to listen to somebody about this, it's going to be the guy that made Metro look like it looks on the Xbox. Fonz, I mean, explain to people how blown away you were with this Metro thing.
Okay, so I think I was like the first one that was really diving into it Friday night. And we were all in the party, and I'm sitting there and I'm playing through it, and every little like thing that I was looking at, I would turn and see something, and I'd go, "Oh my god, this looks crazy! This looks so realistic!" And they're like, "Shut up already!" I just went on and on about it because it does look amazing. I've never seen a game ever look this good on a console in my life. And honestly, I can guarantee that any console owner out there hasn't either. You guys have seen nothing if you haven't seen Metro.
You had your O face on, Fonz, when you were playing that game.
He did, man. My god! And it wasn't even like the first like 5 or 10 minutes. It was like we were in the party for a while. Then like an hour and a half later, you hear him. He's like, "Oh my god!" He's like, "This thing." I was just like, "Bro."
The thing is like when you get to new areas, there's new stuff to look at, and there's just so much to look at. It's amazing. The gameplay is good too. It's solid. It takes some getting used to, but man, it's such a looker. Everybody should try it.
Just to add what you said there, the thing that jumped off to me, to be honest with you, was the textures, like the cloth, like their shirts, their sweaters, like the textures and the tessellation.
Because I kept asking dealer, how many tessellations, how many volumetric lights are in here?
How many tessellation units?
Yeah, exactly. It's gorgeous.
How was the bokeh depth of field in it?
Oh, the bokeh.
We were in the party and we were just like using all these Digital Foundry and all these PC settings, things, so bokeh depth of field and anisotropic filtering and all this crap. We were having a good laugh, but Fonz was just like gushing over the game. Like,
yeah, and dealer just wanted to smack us for saying this stuff, of course, knowing the tech.
Hey, once again, we just gotta say fuck it and give Rumple Foreskin a shout out. Thanks. It says great show. It's becoming a regular in the super chat. I do appreciate that. So yeah, Metro looks insane. Looks better than God of War. Looks better than Red Dead. Played them all on LG. Played them all on LG OLED on the Pro and the X. Metro looks.
It makes you know what it does. It makes me question other developers. I've been saying this. It makes me question, like, what are you guys doing over there? What are you doing in your studios over there? If you can't make a game look like this beautiful and run good too, what are you guys doing?
They're like, we didn't even know this was a thing, so don't bitch at us. There's gonna be people in the Pro like, I think God of War looks better. Like, what platform do you play Metro on? The Pro, haha. And we're like, oh, that's why you played it at 3.6 million pixels instead of 8 million plus, and you're not seeing the same detail that we're seeing on the X. It looks better than God of War. Trust us, okay?
What a huge deficit. Just the other day, people were saying, oh, Anthem and they're the same resolution on the X and the Pro, which was actually debunked later on. But what a huge deficit. Like, the Pro doesn't come anywhere close to the Xbox One X version. It's not even a competition.
Well, yeah, they made Anthem specifically when they announced it. Like, hey, we worked with Microsoft directly with the X for this game to look amazing on it. So that's, at E3 when they announced that. And Metro, the same thing, apparently. They worked really close with Microsoft again for this game.
Well, people hear 1440p, they hear 4K, like, oh, that's about half. And then you tell them how much it really is. 3.6 million pixels to over 8 million pixels. That is over double, over 100% more out of console GPU power is 40-something% by itself. So it's not the same thing. You can't scale the same as the base PS4 and the base Xbox One. Well, they're around the same. No, when your numbers increase, you're scaling. Those numbers definitely scale much higher, much further.
Here's the magic. Here's the magic question that Santito asks: how it looks doesn't matter as long as it's fun. Isn't that right? Well, how about getting both fun and the best looking? That is if you
got something that's fun, and if that same game then looks way better, it's even better than it was before.
Yep. So and that's what I'm seeing on almost every multi-plat I play on the X. It's great.
He's going off the Crackdown, but again, we didn't give Crackdown a 10.
That doesn't matter, Zocker, because actually Crackdown looks pretty good. listen to John Linneman gush about how the visuals are, like how the color and the HDR and just like the visual.
Yeah, the HDMR, the HDR implementation. Yeah, the HDMR. The HDR implementation is really good in that game.
Yeah,
and you can't say, well, you like Crackdown, so the visuals don't matter. No, Crackdown would have been way more badass if it looked way more badass. Like, it just so happens to be a 7.5 in the state that it's at. So, hey, we want to move on to Xbox 2. Apparently lacking VR, says developer. He says that he keeps asking them about that, them being Microsoft, and they just do not really have any answers for VR-related things. There's some rumors going around about HoloLens, but he says that it seems like they are just not interested in VR whatsoever right now anyway for the next generation Xbox. D-Batch, is this disappointing to you as you sit there with your VR headset on?
Yeah, it is. It is disappointing because it would be good to have VR on the Xbox, or at least the next Xbox is coming out. It'd be powerful enough to run it, the way it should be run. But I think Microsoft's been on the record saying a few times that they don't really want to get into it until it's a thing. It's its own thing, and hopefully that it goes wireless. And I think with the mistakes with Kinect, I think they're a little bit shy to go into technology like this.
Well, I think they saw what happened with Sony. Sony brought out PSVR, and I get it. It's the best-selling VR unit out there in the world. But again, not a lot of people bought it. They don't even fucking put it on their E3 showing. They don't even talk about it much at all. They've actually said it's disappointed. They were disappointed in the sales of VR. And I can give two flying butt fucks about it. I don't want it. I don't care. It's not there yet. I've played PSVR multiple times. I know people that get motion sick from it. It looks like you're playing a PS2 game.
I know.
Literally.
People give me crap because they think I bash on VR because I pointed out that 3% of the PS4 fan base is bought into VR on the PlayStation. That's not me bashing. That's just giving you the numbers. I'm in the camp. I don't like VR either. I've tried it. I don't care for it. It's not my thing, but I don't understand what's wrong with Microsoft taking the approach of letting third-party people put their games on there. And if you want to go buy a third-party headset, we'll make sure it's compatible.
Or I think they have that, don't they?
Or the big VR headsets, make them compatible. The Xbox is more, its foundation is on the Windows operating, Windows 10 operating system. Like, make that accessible next generation, that if you want to get the big VR headsets, third-party Oculus Vive and whatever, and just allow that software on there. But
do you know what the difference is?
We don't want to split our player base and say this is a VR game. You need to have a VR headset to play it.
Well, Colt, do you know what the difference is in numbers? Like, do you know how many people own a PSVR? Like, it's around 2.5 million to 2 million. That's where the number is, and they're beating the next second person that would be on Microsoft's. Let's call it. They're at 400,000, 500. So they're going to support it for not even people that use it.
Bottom line, it's a niche product. Bottom line, whether you're on PC, on consoles, it's a product that not a lot of gamers are into. I'm more of a traditionalist. However, I would like to try VR. I would like to try more of it. I just get sick. I can't. But as far as the product itself, it's just niche. Not many gamers are going to really want this. They're not really screaming for it. There's not a lot of people out there that are. So I think that it's something that these console manufacturers don't really have to provide this right now. It's not something that I see is something that should be on the top of anybody's list right now.
Somebody in the chat says, Fonz, you have a VR headset in your avatar.
Yeah. And of course,
Captain Great Drink bringing it to you.
And that's just to represent that I represent all the consoles I play. I own them all, but I can't use the VR unit. I get sick. I really do. I've tried it.
I'll say this in all honesty. I know VR kind of kills this podcast from time to time, gets too boring, but in all honesty, you really have to experience it. It really is some next level shit, but it's just too expensive.
I mean, what's next level? Like, are you talking about PSVR stuff or other stuff?
No, the PC VR, like it's just
okay. Yeah.
It's just like on another level. Like
the
it's
PC VR, yeah, it's much better.
It's so immersive, like
much better than PSVR, yeah. Well, in either case, I think Phil has said it before. He's waiting for VR to become more than just an experience. Stickfigure said it in the chat. Look, Ace Combat 7, perfect example of a game that really could use VR, and the developer only did 2 missions in VR. And what it comes down to is that the path of least resistance, especially for developers like those of Ace Combat 7, what's easiest? What are we going to get away with doing the least of? How much work can we get away with not doing? That's what they're going to do. So until they can build some kind of integrated API tech into something else to make it to where like you can just literally select a box that says, yes, this game has VR, and then all that stuff just works, I don't think you're going to get the kind of VR support that you really want.
Well, how big is VR going to be next generation compared to now? Is it going to double? Like, even that isn't enough.
It depends on, I mean, it needs to do far more than double, and it depends on the prices, and like D-Batch said, it's expensive, and there's a lot of variables there, but hey, whoever supports it's going to get that segment of the market, and then that is no getting around that. So if Microsoft want to support it, then they need to get on it. They need to let these developers know, but if they don't, most of us will not give 2 squirts of piss. Right?
Is VR more future-proof than streaming games?
Nope. No, streaming games is going to be a way to where they can literally sell, 6, 7, 8 times the copies of a game, and VR, that's what they want to do. They want to expand the market, and then they can spend more money on things like VR and feel it a little bit less in their pocketbook, So xCloud is definitely their main focus. Makes way more sense. Get games out there to more people, make way more money, invest back into that environment, that ecosystem, and see what kind of games they can pump out. So it's kind of like big games like Red Dead 2. Or any massive game, not possible with just PC gamers alone. You need console gamers to fuel these games, to buy these games, to give these games all their money back that they've invested, and then some. The PC market alone is not big enough to support massive AAA games. We've seen this over and over. So that's why you get big games, and that's why they always go to console first, is because you need that. And that's what Microsoft are trying to kind of do in a way, is they're trying to expand that even more. And when you get that many more people buying games through xCloud, then you get probably bigger games, better games, So we'll see what that kind of ends up as. But that's been our time. We've been kind of rambling on a lot of subjects today. It's kind of a longer show. We want to say thank you guys for joining us. Hit that like button on your way out. Let's show you 300 for the end of the show, 1,000 if you're watching after the fact. It really helps. Man, this week has just been hectic, man, with Crackdown and all this stuff going on. If you missed my Crackdown review, check it out. It's my last video. A lot of people ended up liking it. Colt did one. Zalker did one. D-Batch did a benchmark in Far Cry somewhere. Fonz talked about Crackdown as well. Check out his video. We're going to get into some outros, starting with D-Batch, man. Good show. Thanks for joining us, brother. What have you been playing, and where can people find you?
I've been playing a lot of Anthem and Metro, and tonight I'm going to get into Crackdown. You guys can find me on Twitter at D_Batch and on YouTube at D-Batch.
Hell yeah. Also, Zalker, bud, what have you been playing? Where can people find you?
Been playing a lot of Anthem, beat Crackdown, played a lot of that, and tonight I'm going to be jumping into Metro. And I just want to say thank you to everybody in the community. We didn't have a little outros last week, but last week I got to 1,000 subs. And I just want to thank everybody for the support, especially Dealer, Colt, Rand, and Lethal Papa. Those guys have been nothing but supportive and helping me out. And everybody's really cool, man. I love this community, and you guys are awesome. And let's just keep enjoying our gaming, everybody.
Man, I just noticed I have a message from Lethal, and I haven't seen him in the chat. I'm thinking he was a little under the weather this week, so hopefully that's not the case. We'll see. But shout out to Lethal. He couldn't really be here today, but we do miss him. Cracking skulls in the chat. Hey, Fonz, what have you been playing, and where can people find you?
Well, they can find me in the world of Metro. I'll be there playing tonight. And also I got a video coming out tomorrow on Metro. So be ready for that. And they can find me at Jay Fonzarelli here on YouTube and Twitter.
Colt Eastwood, what have you been playing? Where can we find you?
I think I'm still kind of messing around with Crackdown. I'm never going to get all 1,000 orbs. I've kind of accepted that. I have like 600 plus. I think you and Dealer and I are about the same. I'll never get max agility. That kind of bums me out. But I've also been playing Far Cry New Dawn, like I said earlier in the podcast. If you like Far Cry 5, it's worth the $40. I think you should give it a try. So I'll get to Metro after that. It's like, this is crazy. This spring's going to be awesome. So yeah, check out my Crackdown review. A lot of people hate it, so go check it out.
Well, I mean, let's specify. It's kind of like when saying nobody likes so-and-so. Who doesn't like so-and-so? Is it radical fuckface fanboy who doesn't like the fact that Colt enjoyed Crackdown 3, or is it normal consumer who actually is looking at things objectively? It's probably
it's crazy. I knew what to expect. I covered the development hell of Crackdown, so I knew what kind of state the game was going to be in. And I had so much fun playing it. I had fun playing it co-op with Zocker and playing co-op with Dealer. I played co-op with Underachiever, my buddy, and like just had a good time. And I love watching people just admit I really am having fun with Crackdown. I didn't think I would. So, yep.
Even some of the more radical guys. Some of
it's just funny. It's good.
But in either case, that's what I've been playing as well. I beat the shit out of Crackdown. Played it 100 times more than I ever expected to. Definitely enjoyed it way more than I enjoyed it at all, which is way more than I expected to. And like I said, just dropped a review on that, and literally just had to preface everything by destroying every argument anyone could think of. Down to, hey, have you ever enjoyed a game that maybe got panned? Of course you have. Have you ever? We can extend this to movies or music. Have you ever watched and enjoyed a movie that got destroyed by the critics? Did you enjoy a movie that got destroyed by the critics? Of course you have. All of us have. Or did you dislike a movie that the critics loved? Of course you have, right? And that's kind of like what it is here with Crackdown with me. Critics didn't like it. I happen to enjoy it. Thought it was a good time. You can find me at dealer_gaming on Twitter. And of course, Xbox Live at II_dealer_II. And for those of you that want to become sponsors of the show, get shout outs during the show. Maybe you want to come onto the podcast. If you need some YouTube help, I help people in this community all the time with YouTube behind the scenes, help get their channels rolling and kind of teach them the rules of YouTube, things like that. We got a link. Cool. You help me. I help people all the time with that kind of stuff. So if you want to get that kind of stuff, you want to win some games, we got all kinds of tiers on Patreon there. Check that link out down below and stay tuned to that site. This week, I should be posting about new game additions or something like that here soon. So let us know what you think down below, guys. Thank you so much for your support. Share this bitch somewhere. It really helps. We're out.
He helped me twice.
Peace. I signed up twice.